G'day and welcome to the Larry Lakers, the Dribbling Chit Chat Show. Well, it's been a long break, but at last we've been waiting for it. Game one of the preseason. Unfortunately, the Lakers went down to the Warriors. It looked a pretty good game, or at least a pretty good hit out. There's a few questions have come up from our listeners. I've already sent in the questions, but the first thing that stood out straight away, the first takeaway from the first preseason game is, please don't go D'Angelo. There's been a lot of talk. Is D'Angelo on the trading block? Is that the sort of contract that's perfect to trade? But from what we saw today, no. Please don't go D'Angelo. You're perhaps the best player there. Please don't go D'Angelo. And anyone who's watching, please share, comment, and subscribe. Take the time to subscribe. We've got a lot of viewers. A lot of people said, good to have you back. Good to have the season. People saw us down the street in the break and they said, hey, love the show. So thank you very much for the encouragement. But please subscribe. We've also got a podcast. So if you get the chance, go over and have a listen to the podcast as well. Now, here's the questions from our viewers, and we love to get them because they supply the Dribbling Chit Chat content all the time. Should we hold off on the GM of the Year award for Pelinka? That's Mick the Inca who doubts Pelinka. That's a great sort of call sign. Should we hold off on the GM of the Year? Everyone was raving about this Rob Pelinka. What a genius job he's done. Well, after today's game, I'm not sure if the parts have all come together yet so well that you could give any awards to Rob Pelinka yet. I'd be holding off on the awards just a little while longer because not quite sure how the parts gel together. It's only one game. We got to give him a little bit longer, and we'll tell you what the next games are coming up in this preseason. But should we hold off on the GM of the Year award for Rob Pelinka? Mick the Inca who doubts Pelinka. Are Jackson Hayes and Colin Castleton better than Christian Woods? Tim Hugs at Destination Anywhere. Oh, that's a great question because judging by today, Tim said, look, is Christian Wood overpaid? I said, hang on, he's on a minimum contract. He said, I still think he's overpaid. Well, Jackson Hayes, he looked pretty good. Still looked like he's got to fit into the team. But Colin Castleton came on. It was garbage time, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Where do Cam Reddish and Torian Prince fit in from D Styles at the nation's capital? That's a great question because when you have a look, we'll reveal a little bit about the stats. So I would like to think Torian Prince, professional, he'll get there in the end, but I'm a bit worried about the Cam Reddish fit on the early signs. Perhaps something will happen. Perhaps there's a reason people are available on minimum contract. What about Jalen Hood-Schifino from Clayton at Clayton? Clayton. Good question. Yeah, there's some interesting things there in terms of Jalen Hood. He spat up a lot of shots, but yet to quite make the click look strong. Max Christie looked good from big muns at blocks tons. We'll talk about that. The Warriors bench looked better than ours. Nesbitt at threes hit. I believe this Nesbitt does like a few threes to hit, but we'll talk about that too. More Demoy Hodge needed, admittedly. That's a person who's obviously been supporting our second or third podcast where we were talking about the Summer League team, and Demoy was our standout from Summer League, the one we said should be up for more of a run for those number of times you can bring up a two-way player. Now, who is Podziemski? Jay Foy. Look, Jay Foy, that's a good question. He's one of the players there from the Warriors. We'll give him a quick little shout out. The Warriors were better prepared, or is it too early to tell? From Ham's our hero. Obviously a Darvin Ham fan, but a little bit worried that Darvin Ham was out prepared there by Coach Kerr. Admittedly, LeBron, Austin Reeves missing, and a lot stronger lineup there in terms of their perennial superstars, but they were missing Draymond Green, who was on the sideline, I think 6 weeks with an ankle injury. Rui looks good, and Lakers looksy, and all that and more coming up on this YouTube and the podcast. Don't forget to go over there and please like and subscribe to the YouTube. Game one is done. What's to look at and what are the key takeaways? Look, let's have a little go here. 125, 108. It snuck up on us, but they led early, and really we didn't come back. We got it back to 7 occasionally there, and got it close before half time. But third quarter, the gap grew again, and then fourth quarter, the gap grew a little bit, but there was a fair bit, probably the last 7 or 8 minutes. Both teams kindly emptied their benches to get some of the two-way guys, summer league guys, a bit of a look there. And you can see in that picture, Chris Paul was one of the big anticipated sort of how would he fit in. Bit hard to tell because Draymond Green's not on the field, so how do you put your entire roster out there and see where he fits into that? But it saved that issue of will he be a bench player? He's good enough to be a starter. He's a legend, but it solves it for now. What happens later? Obviously, he'll be a great asset, because they usually lose those minutes where Steph Curry's not on the floor. So that should be pretty good. Now, team stats, let's have a look at this. Everything was pretty close. Look, for a while there, you saw guys like Kuminga just hitting 3 after 3 after 3, and you thought, if only Pelinka got off his backside and recruited some three-point shooters. Well, little did you know, the Lakers outshot the famous Warriors a little bit in the three-point department there, 39% compared to 36. Free throws, is it going to be a year of crazy free throws again, Lakers? Can you hit your free throw shots? 11 out of 20, like is that 55%? That's terrible. 16 out of 25, which is just 64. Obviously, people are a bit dusty, a bit nervous from the Warriors and the Lakers, but that's not too flash. But this is where we got smashed. We were taller than this team. Like we're talking about the team who hasn't even got the great Draymond Green. 46 total rebounds to the Warriors. Sorry, 46 to us. And we're out rebounded to 60 rebounds. And it is at the defensive end. Offensive rebounds are the same, so that's nice in terms of keeping the ball alive, possibly getting a putback basket. 10 all in the offensive rebounds, but 50 to 36. 14 more rebounds, defensive rebounds there. What is doing there, Lakers? Let's box out. A couple of times too, they just sneaky inbound on the baseline, and people forget to cover the inbounder every time. What is going on? They sneak in. I've never seen so many reverse layups on the baseline. Just the guy stepping in, back to the basket, curl up a little reverse layup. Without even having to dribble in. Obviously, guys were sneaking in the back. A little bit of attention gone there. I'm sure Coach Ham will be on that. Outscored in the assists, 27 to 21. Blocks very similar, 8 to the Warriors, 21 to the 8-7, only one the difference. But at one stage it looks like every time somebody dribbled in, like Hood-Schifino, it looked like they were covered, and someone like Kuminga would get a touch on the block. So amazing to think there was only one block difference in the end. It just looked like the Lakers, if they penetrated, they were covered. The guys are relying on athletic strength. The guys are a bit slipperier and willing to do something a little like a floater or a fallback jumper, like D'Angelo Russell, and to some extent Max Christie looked a little bit better, looked less likely to be blocked. But going to the hoop, if you're anyway half-hearted, the Lakers in trouble. Christian Wood sort of got himself halfway committed, or between sort of pulling up or going in for a dunk, and when you weren't going all the way in for the dunk, the shots were being blocked, and it seemed like the Warriors had our number there all the time, but it didn't occur like that at all in the totals. So the eye test doesn't seem to match the stats there. Again, the steals, we seem to turn it over a lot, but 11 the Warriors in the steals, and 10 the Lakers, pretty even there. Turnovers 17, the Lakers 19, so more turnovers there for the Warriors. But I guess you're biased, you're watching the game, the eye test said, a few turnovers there, Lakers. Maybe it's the times too where we turn them over, where we could least afford it in terms of leading the game. Points in the paint are the same at 46, and fouls dead even. How about that? Referees very even-handed perhaps in the preseason. Let's have a look at the standout players here and some of the questions that have come up from our viewers, like please don't go D'Angelo. All that talk about D'Angelo, look, he's just the perfect contract for trading. He won't be there once we get Austin Reeves back. We've got all these guards. We've got insurance with Schifino for D'Angelo. When it came down to it, he was the best player there. He was the only player who could sort of change gear. He wasn't the best player because he can hit a three. He was the best player because he had a little change of speed, a little bit of deception with the other team. He could pick up a mid-range, slight fadeaway jumper. He looked better than anyone out there for the Lakers, and here he is, the guy we talk about trading. Maybe we should rethink that one. Lakers fans, comment below, we'd like to know. But I thought Russell, D'Angelo, please don't go. He was the best one out there. Christian Wood, one of our viewers questioned whether Christian Wood was as good as Jackson Hayes and Colin Castleton. Not today. He wasn't. He didn't look like he was quite there. It seemed to need a move out of the perimeter, like a way to come off a screen, rather, or pick and pop, where he tended to already be out there and the ball hit him and he was already covered. They seemed to cover him on the perimeter, but there was no move to free him up on the perimeter. He doesn't seem to be substantial enough to screen and then pop high, because he's not the bulk, or perhaps the players aren't coordinating in with him to pick and pop at this stage, and maybe he's used to getting the ball and ISOing a bit. He seemed to get the ball at the top and a little ISO, but it was too far out. They already had one or two players already sliding over there on the defence. Taurean Prince looked like he wasn't quite sure where he fit in the thing, but he looked like he was he's smart enough to work it out. I'm a bit more worried about some of the others like Cam Reddish, but Prince looked like he's patient enough. He wasn't forcing the ball. He wasn't trying to find his own shot. I think he's classy enough that over time, I'm not as worried about Taurean Prince, but there were some interesting signs there for Cam Reddish, and some work to do there for Christian Wood. Anthony Davis, just 13 minutes, good to protect him. Rui looked good. Rui Hachimura looked a little clunky, but he's a big guy moving to the basket. When he spins, he's pretty much got a, when they collapse in, he's pretty much got to bump one of the two. They've collapsed over and he got his shoulder into the chest of a few of them, but they were moving slightly, and so the foul was on them. Vando looked good in terms of the energy once again. 7 rebounds, 6 points. Look, I don't know what is going on with that free-point shot, the three throw. He seems to take one hand right off and just be hitting it with the other. I think there's some work to be doing there, but what an asset he is in terms of energy. Gabe Vincent looked very good in terms of his quick release and deep. So if Gabe Vincent is replacing the minutes or role of, say, Dennis Schroeder, World Cup champion for Germany. Congratulations, Dennis, and former Laker. But if Gabe Vincent's doing that, I thought his quick release, and different to Schroeder, where it seems to take a little longer, a little smoother, classy, up. But the way Gabe Vincent shot him today, he was a quicker release than I think Dennis Schroeder is, and longer, deeper range. And even though I think his net plus minus was negative, I think there's not much to worry about Gabe Vincent. He'll work his way to fit into this team. D'Angelo, as we mentioned there, the 16 minutes, 15 points, 5 assists. He was a class above everyone else today. Max Christie warmed into the game. Took him a while, missed a couple, but he started to look good. His three looked pretty good, but his mid-range looked good. He wasn't trying to force his way all the way to the basket, and he looked better through contact than he did as a rookie back in the day. Jalen Hood-Schifino, he looks strong physically, but a little clunky in terms of where his shot's going to come from. Where can he get his shot off smoothly? He needs to hang around with D'Angelo Russell to get that slight fadeaway or a slight floater game because as he's strong enough to get his defender on his hip or get the player on the back, but he as he's dribbling, he's got them behind them, but finishing, he seems to get nearly all the way there. But that last little part, this isn't summer league anymore. You've got those big guys from the NBA coming across, and he gets in a little bit of trouble there, taking it through to that final bit of contact. Maybe a little move like a jumper, a fade away, or a floater might get him something, but maybe the game will free up too for some of these guys once LeBron gets back there and once Austin Reeves, but particularly someone like LeBron that you've got in that sort of front court means you might be able to dish off to someone as well. Christian Wood, 20 minutes, looked a bit like third quarter there. He looked like he might try and take over the game. A couple of baskets in a row spinning, but again, I think he found it hard today to ISO from straight in front of the basket. I think he needs a little bit of plays running for him, and he seems to like a bit of ISO or a bit more time to get it done there. And maybe that'll come again when there's a lot of tension on LeBron and the ball's kicked out a little more. Cam Reddish, wasn't sure how it'd go. Maybe he was easing his way into it. He was just about to turn it up when he rolled an ankle today. So Cam Reddish, we hope he's well, but we look forward to seeing what he can do. Jackson Hayes looked a little clunky. It looked like he was trying to work out where he fits in, but he looked like that at times with the Pelicans. But he actually had a pretty good stats in terms of the real plus minus. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Taurean Prince, as I said, I think he'll work out where he is. Maxwell Lewis got on, and a little crossover at the top of the key, three-pointer, but no rebounds and 1 assist. I'll have to go back. I'd like to look at how he could possibly, maybe he's a defensive asset, Maxwell Lewis, and a classy athlete, and maybe he's a long-term investment in that regard. Alex Fudge, who's sort of a Jared Vanderbilt light version, and he got 8 minutes, but a few of these minutes are garbage time. This last 8 minutes where both teams sportingly emptied the benches. Alex Fudge, College Castleton, and Demoy Hodge. But Demoy Hodge, our favourite, at one stage there, it looked like he wouldn't miss a three. A couple of them did miss and brought down his stats, but at least he went on and he was willing. So what if somebody's asked us here, I think it was Maritz Mo from Memphis, Brandon Podziemski. Who is he? Who is Podziemski? Now, Podziemski is their rookie, drafted around, I think, the 19th position, and he came on, and wow, he was solid. He's sort of look, I guess that every year they recruit that possible next Clays, the possible next Draymonds, but these guys like Moses Moody, Kuminga, and Brandon Podziemski, they've been around, and then Clay comes back from injury, gets his shot back, he's still there, and these guys are still on the bench. But today, these two guys look very good. Jonathan Kuminga, 24 minutes, 24 points, and hitting the three, which is perfect for the Golden State team. But what an athletic guy he is, going to the basket and blocking shots as well. And Moses Moody, his offsider, also got 24, not quite as prolific in the points, wasn't on fire to the same level. Brandon Podziemski, the rookie, look at this, 26 minutes, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 11 points. This guy stood out as a sort of pretty classy find for them. I think he's going to get minutes this year. And, of course, everyone was waiting to watch the Chris Paul, how would he fit in, would he refuse to come off the bench, etc., etc. But it didn't work out that way, of course, because of Draymond being hurt. Chris Paul was in the starting lineup, played the same sort of minutes as the big names like Wiggins, Stephen Curry, Looney, all around that 13, 14-minute mark. So that wasn't such a concern. One guy that did look good to me after coming back from serious injuries, Dario Saric, that had played at Phoenix Suns, although some pretty serious surgeries, didn't get a lot of that time with Chris Paul, but he looks like a guy who can fill in some of those minutes, not in terms of athletic lateral defense left to right the way Draymond can, but as a big who can initiate the play. He can get up the top of the key and he can find a pass. This guy was a playmaker, Dario Saric, and then if people sag off him, he'll hit the three. So dangerous player there. Dario Saric probably got a better three in terms of if people sag off him than Draymond Green, but Dario Saric, I thought he showed some promise for them today in terms of somebody who could fill a few minutes, innings eater as they call them, when Draymond Green isn't around there, particularly while he's injured, or if he's filling in off the bench and they're going a small ball sort of centre. Now, who were the best? We talked about this a minute ago. Who were the best from the summer leagues? Our favourite, Demoy Hodge there, and Colin Castleton. They both looked pretty good, but it was garbage time, 8 minutes. Castleton got a lot of touches of the ball. He was one of the better passers in summer league, but here he was in this time today, he was one of the better rebounders. Rui Hachimura with 21 minutes was a better rebounder, and quite a few rebounds, showing how physically strong Jalen Hood-Schifino is, but we need a little bit of work there on his shot percentage. If we have a look at it here, a few of the guys, like he was, Cam Reddish was minus 22 in the real plus minus, Taurean Prince minus 15, but I think he'll get it. He's too classy, and I think he's just working how to fit in. So if Laker fans are thinking, why isn't this guy doing a better job? I think it's because he's team orientated enough to work out where is his game best going to fit in to help the Lakers. So I'm not too worried about Taurean Prince having those negative numbers there. Jalen Hood-Schifino, I'm sure people won't be too worried, but minus 14 on his real plus minus. It looks like he needs a shot, as we're talking about. Jackson Hayes, despite looking a little clunky out there, plus 7. So he's on a good time, 15 minutes. And so that answers one of our fans' questions, one of our listeners who asked Jackson Hayes and Colin Castleton, shown in this picture, are they better investments than Christian Wood? Well, I think Christian Wood's obviously got some scoring skills that he's shown in other teams, but today these two guys were, yes, the Jackson Hayes show and Colin Castleton, a little bit more of a passer, even though he didn't have the assists there, than of course Christian Wood, but he hasn't got the 3-point shot that Christian Wood has, which makes him such a prospect. Christian Wood also, despite his defence being much maligned, much criticised, did get a nice block in the game as well, and I think the commentators made quick mention of. Now, getting to the end of the show, what's worth a Lakers look-see? People are wondering what's worth a Lakers look-see. Last time we recommended a show about the G League that was on Amazon Prime. This one here is also on Amazon Prime. I know it's not a basketball show, but this is worth a Lakers look-see. It's a show called Kelce, I believe, and I don't even know much about the NFL, but this guy, Jason Kelce, has a younger brother there, Travis, and Jason's in a season where he's contemplating whether to retire, and he's got young family, more kids on the way, and he's had so many different physical injuries and surgeries and things, and it's just a really good show in terms of contemplating career and career end, family, in terms of your brother or siblings, your own parents. There's a great feature on his mum in the show, and also having your own children, like where does you work, and transitioning in career. How do you get to the next thing? And one of the things they do is they've started a podcast, and of course now's the connection back to the Lakers. Here's two connections. LeBron has put out on Twitter, when are we going to be on the show, because these guys must be all from Ohio like LeBron, and of course Travis has said yes, we'd love to have you on the show there. And then of course there's a connection, as there was a rumour with Austin Reeves and a connection, but that he said no, I think it was just a friendly saying hello. But Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce, so the brother of Jason, and the two of them of course have got the podcast going. So a few little connections there to the Lakers, but if you're looking for a show, I guess you might not be looking for as many shows or books to read now that the season is so close to kicking off. There's nearly a game in pre-season every second day for the Lakers, so what's next? What's next for the Lakers? Look, this was October 7 game, so October 9. So we'll miss one tomorrow, but we'll get another one the next day. And a little bit of travel there from San Francisco to Las Vegas for the Lakers. They're playing the Brooklyn Nets, so Australian fans might see Simmons, might not. There's always some clips of him, hitting three-pointers and pulling off all sorts of hopeful tricks, fitter than ever. But of course, then it comes to the game. Some of these videos, no one ever seems to miss a shot on the summer videos. I'm going to put one out with myself missing all of them and see if it gets a sort of honesty award or something. Sacramento Kings at the Honda Center there in Anaheim. So different for the Lakers not to be at Crypto, but every second day there's games. October 13, Golden State Warriors again at Crypto, Milwaukee Bucks at Crypto on the 15th. Then instead of a game every second day, we're waiting to October the 19th for the Phoenix Suns. So that's a good lineup. The Nets, the Kings, the Warriors, the Bucks, and the Phoenix Suns yet to go. So as we said at the start of the show, if you have watched this, I imagine you've gone through all the other Lakers shows, and we had to go out, but couldn't sort of broadcast straight after the show. But we'll be able to after some of these ones coming up in a couple of games. But please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And please also go over to the podcast. It's on all the good ones like Spotify and Amazon and all the other ones where you get your good podcast. But until that time, thank you for watching. And until next week, have a safe week, or won't even be next week. Until next podcast, great to see the season back. Great to have all those questions back. Thank you. You've been listening to the Larry Lakers Dribbling Chit Chat. I'm Tony. Until next time, thank you.